Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be something I've never done on this channel. The idea was given to me by my brother. My family was in town last week. My dad and I actually shot a video together, Plan 9 from Outer Space. If you want to watch that video, link is down in the description. But we were talking about all the different bad horror movies that we've watched over the years, and my brother made a joke that I should do a video called Horror Movies I Watched So You Didn't Have To. And I thought that was a pretty good idea, and there are tons of horror movies out there that once you watch them, you're mad that you spent your time watching them. So I want to do like a little mini series on my channel where I talk about horror movies I watched so you didn't have to. And I think for this series, it's not going to be strictly like really bad, like C-list horror movies, low budget kind of things. I kind of want to incorporate modern horror movies or even like more popular horror movies that I've seen that to me just didn't feel like they lived up to what they were supposed to. I have one in my mind already that I think I'm going to make a video about, and it's probably going to ruffle a little bit of feathers because some people really like this horror movie and I just feel like it was such a waste of my time to watch, but that's a different video for a different day. And the movie we're going to be reviewing today is a little bit of a cult classic. It's got its own little fan base. It is Thankskilling. Thankskilling was shot in 2006 but was released in 2009 and was written and directed by Jordan Downey. This movie started off with a $3,500 budget, which was the entire movie was shot on, and then it raised money after shooting for post-production and DVD release by doing a Kickstarter campaign, which it raised $112,248 overall. For a quick synopsis of the movie, back whenever America was discovered and the Pilgrims came and started interacting with the Native Americans, one of the Pilgrims dishonored a Native American shaman. There's no specification on what dishonored means or what that entails or what happened, just he dishonored him, and the shaman caused a curse for a killer turkey to come kill every white man it crosses that's only released every 505 years. So take that for what it is. And thankfully for us, we get to see what happens after a 505-year-long wait, and the turkey is resurrected to come commit mass murder on Thanksgiving. Our movie follows 5 college kids who are on Thanksgiving break and heading home to celebrate the holiday. One of the kids tells the legend of the turkey that was released upon the earth by the Native American shaman, and while everyone is joking and saying it's not true and kind of making fun of this one girl because she actually got really freaked out, the evil turkey named Turkie is resurrected back to life and starts to go around the park looking for white people to kill. He successfully hunts down each of the teenagers one by one. He commits lots of murders in the meantime, making bad jokes, using bad disguises, and the kids have to try to figure out how to stop him before they all die. They find a book on how to kill the turkey and are trying to complete the ritual before the turkey picks them off one by one. They think that they've done it. They try to kill him, I think, 2 different times. The turkey inevitably escapes, and we are left with an end card saying to be continued in space. Now, this movie is considered a horror black comedy. It said that it was written to be kind of like a joke about holiday horror movies, and this movie does have a lot of comedic factors to it. It pretty much starts and ends on a joke. Half the things that come out of the turkey's mouth is a joke. The kids are making really bad jokes throughout the entire film. So most of the dialogue is like comedy, and then you have the horror aspect of a resurrected turkey coming around and killing people. But the movie was basically written on a joke. The tagline for the movie, which is "Gobble Gobble Mother," was written before the movie was even conceptualized. So that just shows you how it started and why the movie was set up to be a bad movie. And Downey, the creator of the movie, was never set on it being like a huge blockbuster hit. He wrote and shot it with a college friend in between the summer of their junior and senior year, I believe, so they knew it wasn't going to be a huge big production, but they wanted to do their take on a comedy horror film. They'd even thrown around the idea of doing an Easter holiday horror film called Extrava Kill, but thought Thankskilling would be a funnier movie to do. As I said earlier, they only had a budget of $3,500 to do this movie, and they shot it over the course of 11 days. Most of the special effects were made in the garage of Jordan Downey, and that's even where they held their auditions for the film. And the only person I'd even sort of consider like a professional actor is the person in the opening shot of the film, which, by the way, the film opens on a shot of a woman's boob. Like, zoomed in full screen tit, and it zooms out to show a pilgrim woman with her boobs out, and she ends up getting murdered by the turkey as well. I think it was supposed to be depicting the first Thanksgiving, and like that's the first time the turkey showed up to kill. But she runs away with her tits out, and the turkey chases her and kills her. And that woman was actually Wanda Lust, a porn star at the time. So they did get an actress. Most of the crew was auditioned for and were aspiring actors. I don't think any of them have done anything else other than this film. So there's no real big names in this movie, and the acting is just awful. It's very like stale. It doesn't help that the dialogue is really bad as well, but the delivery of the lines is so wooden and just stale as it could be. They're not fluctuating the words correctly. It doesn't sound like a real conversation. Half the time they're not looking in the right direction. One of the girls looks at the camera after delivering her lines. So we've already got bad dialogue mixed with bad acting, which makes for a difficult film to watch. And you have to hope that the jokes and the production of the film are good enough to save it, and I just feel like this movie does not save itself. The characters in the movie are very cliche. We have like the nerd, the jock, the idiot, the dumb slutty girl, and then like the goody two-shoes girl. Like, those are our 5 main characters, so it's characters that you're already familiar with their story arcs. So there's nothing new or original there. And then the dialogue, as I said, is just god-awful. Most of what they say are jokes, and they're bad forced puns, and I love a good pun, but there are so many just parts where you're cringing at the jokes, and they're not, like, cringe funny, they're just cringe. And there's a joke in there about like the slutty girl, and they say like, oh, your legs are harder to close than John Bonet's case, and they make that same joke like 2 more times in the film. So like that was, I guess, the prize joke of the entire production, and they did it like twice in the same like 20 minutes, and then like towards the end of the film they did it again. So the movie's already using its same jokes. So now do we not only have bad dialogue, but we also had repetitive dialogue. And the concept for a killer turkey that was released because a Native American shaman got dishonored by a pilgrim is just weird and doesn't feel right, especially considering that like our interpretation of the first Thanksgiving is like totally skewed to make white people look really good. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like revenge on the white man because the turkey only kills white people, or if it's just a problematic premise to begin with. I'm not really sure, but something about the underlying plot of the movie doesn't feel right to me. But if you can kind of just gloss over that part and just appreciate a killer turkey for what it is, it's kind of a ridiculous concept, and the killer turkey is just like any horror movie bad guy who has a lot of dialogue. He's very like derogatory and gross. I think half the stuff that comes out of his mouth is like sex related or just being a nicky creepy turkey. He does even go on to rape one of the college girls. So the turkey himself is not a likable character. His only redeeming quality is like he's a funny talking turkey, but he himself is a bad person. But he also has some of the best dialogue and acting in the entire movie. The voice acting for the turkey wasn't too bad, honestly, and the turkey was just a puppet, which was made from like a hunting turkey dressed up with like feathers and stuff. But the character itself is just not that great, really. You want the kids to kill him because he's just not that good of a person, turkey, whatever. But even like parts of the movie that are almost like detrimental to the plot are riddled with such holes and ridiculousness that it's not even like, oh, that would never happen. It's beyond that. In one scene in particular, the turkey shows up at one of the girls' houses, the one that's dad has the library that has the magical book about how to kill him. And the dad answers the door dressed as a full turkey because he's going to like a parade or something. And the turkey has on the like classic disguise of like the big rimmed glasses with the nose and mustache. And the dad falls for it and lets the turkey inside, and they have like a cup of tea together. And the dad, I think, mistakes him for like a chicken or something, and the turkey gets super pissed and kills him. And as that wasn't bad enough, the turkey then skins the dad and puts his face over his, like, he pulls a full-on leather face kind of scenario and puts the dad's face on. And then when the kids get there, they're knocking on the door, and the turkey answers with the dad face. And the girl believes it's her father. She believes the turkey with the mask on is her father. And that was the point in the movie where I wasn't sure I wanted to keep watching. Because that is the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever seen. Even for a comedy, that's the kind of stuff you see in a cartoon that's like funny and you can get away with because it's a cartoon. But this isn't a cartoon, and these children knew that killer turkey was out there, and then you see a turkey with a mask on and think, it's my dad. I get that it's supposed to be funny and ridiculous, but it's almost so terribly unfunny and ridiculous that you don't want to keep watching. And I think that part happens like 30, 40-ish minutes in. It's close to towards the end because they're finally like at the house and get the book and stuff. But it's not so far in that I felt like I would feel bad for not finishing it, but it was also far enough in that I was so frustrated with what I had seen so far, and now I realize why, because this movie just kind of sucks. But my dad and I were watching it together, so we stuck it out, even though we both were like, do we really want to keep going? We made it 30 minutes in, might as well. But that's when I even stopped trying to watch it with a sense of like a critical eye of maybe there's something in here that's redeemable. That's where the movie I fell off the edge and just couldn't come back up. Now, some people love how ridiculous this movie is, and if that's what you're into, then this is the movie for you. But if you're trying to watch bad horror movies that have a rewatchability to them, I do not suggest something like this. The end of the movie, which has an end card that reads "to be continued ... in space," was kind of just a joke. They never intended on making a second film, but because they had put the joke in there, they decided to make a sequel to it. But even the sequel itself is a joke. The sequel is Thankskilling 3, and it's all about how Thankskilling 2 got like destroyed or stolen or something. Honestly, I watched like 10 minutes into it and couldn't. It's worse than the first one so badly that I couldn't even try to watch it all the way through. And Thankskilling 3 even opens the exact same way as the first one, with the same porn star Wanda Lust's breast zoomed in all the way, and when you zoom out, now she's an astronaut with her tits out in space. So the sequel doesn't even have watchability to it. And the first movie is the kind of movie that I didn't even bother rewatching it before making this video, because it's the kind of movie that I've seen it, don't want to see it again. I'll tell everyone I know about it and how ridiculous and stupid it is, but don't waste your time watching it. I watched it so you didn't have to. There's a decent amount of blood and gore in the movie. The practical effects aren't great. They were done with a budget of only like a few $100s. There's one scene where like this turkey busts out of the guy's gut and you see guts coming out, and they're just pantyhose like stuffed with sponges soaked in fake blood. So the practical effects, while they're clever and fun, they do too many close-ups of it that make you see what it is, and you're like, I can't even pretend in that aspect. Everything is just bad. It is considered a cult classic. There is a fan base behind this movie that really do love it for what it is, and to those people I say props to you. You can like and watch whatever you want to, but if you're someone like me who wants to watch a bad horror movie that they will want to watch again and again and show to people and laugh about, this is not the movie you're going to want to watch. There's not enough good in the movie to make it good enough to rewatch. It's just bad all the way around. But that is just a quick video on the movie Thankskilling, a movie so bad that I watched it so you didn't have to. What other movies do you guys think would be good for me to cover on this series? Like I said, I want to do not only bad horror movies, but even popular movies that I just don't think deserve the credit that they have, or to me are the kind of movies that aren't worth the watch. You can always leave a comment down below or head over to my Instagram, What a Horror. I'll be making a post about this video as well. But I thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. I put out new videos every Friday. And until next time, stay spooky.